It was just past midnight when Alex, Maya, and Jason stepped out of their van and into the decaying remains of Thornwick factory. The moon, obscured by thick, creeping clouds, cast an eerie glow over the sprawling ruins. The factory, once a bustling center of industry, had been abandoned for decades, left to rot and become the playground of vagrants and vandals. Tonight, however, it was the hunting ground of the three investigators, each driven by their own curiosity and a desire for discovery. Alex, the leader of the group, was a seasoned urban explorer with a penchant for the paranormal. His camera, strapped to his chest, blinked with a red light, recording their every move. Maya, the skeptic, believed there was always a rational explanation for everything, but she enjoyed the thrill of exploration and documenting their adventures. Jason, the tech expert, was responsible for the gadgets that supposedly detected paranormal activity. They all had their reasons for being there, but none could foresee the horrors that awaited them. The main entrance of the factory was a gaping maw, its metal doors hanging askew, rusting in the humid air. They stepped inside, their footsteps echoing ominously through the vast, empty space. The smell of mold and decay hit them like a wave, and the air was thick with dust and neglect. "All right, let's get started," Alex said, his voice low and steady. "Jason, set up the M-Freeder over there. Maya, start taking some photos. I'll check the main floor." The three split up, each slipping into their roles with practiced ease. Jason's M-Freeder emitted soft beeps, scanning for any electromagnetic anomalies. Maya's camera flashed intermittently, capturing the derelict beauty of the abandoned factory. Alex, his flashlight cutting through the darkness, explored the main floor, eyes scanning for any signs of the supernatural. As Alex moved deeper into the factory, he noticed strange markings on the walls, symbols carved into the metal and stone. They were unlike anything he had seen before, intricate and foreboding. He took out his camera and began to film, narrating his findings in a hushed tone. "Guys, come look at this," Alex called out, his voice echoing. Maya and Jason joined him, their faces illuminated by the pale light of their flashlights. "What do you think these mean?" Maya asked, her skepticism giving way to curiosity. "I don't know," Alex replied, "but they're definitely not random graffiti. These symbols were made with purpose." Jason's EMF reader started to beat more rapidly as they approached the center of the main floor. "I'm getting some serious readings here," he said, his voice tinged with excitement and fear. "Whatever's here is strong." Suddenly, the temperature in the room plummeted, and their breath became visible in the cold air. A low, guttural moan echoed through the factory, sending chills down their spines. "Did you hear that?" Maya whispered, her earlier bravado gone. "Yeah," Alex said, his grip tightening on his flashlight. "Stay close." They moved as a unit now, each step deliberate and cautious. The factory seemed to come alive around them, shadows shifting in the corners of their eyes. The moan grew louder, more distinct, and was joined by the sound of shuffling feet. They reached a large open space in the center of the factory, where the floor was stained a dark rusty red. In the middle of the room was a large circular symbol, similar to the ones they had seen on the walls, but more intricate and ominous. Alex's flashlight flickered, and then died, plunging them into darkness. "Damn it," he muttered, fumbling for a spare battery. As he struggled with his flashlight, Maya and Jason's cameras continued to flash, illuminating the room in brief, strobe-like bursts. In those flashes, they saw them, figures standing around the circle, their eyes hollow and their faces twisted in anguish. The investigators froze, their terror palpable. "What the hell are those?" Jason asked, his voice trembling. "Spirits," Alex said, his voice barely audible. "The victims of whatever happened here." The spirits moved closer, their forms becoming more distinct. They were dressed in tattered clothing, their bodies marred with wounds, their eyes empty and sorrowful, seemed to bore into the investigators' souls. One of the spirits, a young woman with long, matted hair, stepped forward. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Instead, the investigators were hit with a wave of intense emotion, fear, pain, and despair. "We need to get out of here," Maya said, her voice breaking. "Now." But as they turned to leave, the spirits closed in, their ghostly hands reaching out. The investigators felt an icy grip on their limbs, immobilizing them. "You can't leave," the young woman's voice echoed in their minds. "You have to help us. You have to finish the ritual." "What ritual?" Alex asked, struggling to free himself from the spectral grasp. The ritual that binds us here, she replied. It must be completed to set us free. Alex's mind raced. What do we need to do? The spirit pointed to the center of the circle. Blood. It needs blood. No way, Jason said, his voice panicked. We're not doing that. But the spirit's grip tightened, and the room seemed to pulse with a dark energy. You must, the young woman insisted, or you will join us. Maya, her face pale, stepped forward. If it's the only way to free them, we have to do it. We can't leave them like this. Reluctantly, Alex and Jason agreed. Alex took out his pocket knife and made a small cut on his palm, letting the blood drip onto the circle. Maya and Jason followed suit, their blood mingling with his on the floor. As the blood touched the symbol, it began to glow, and the spirit's grip loosened. The room filled with a blinding light, and the spirit's form started to dissolve. The young woman smiled, her face softening. "Thank you," she whispered before disappearing into the light. The factory fell silent, the oppressive atmosphere lifting. The investigators, shaken and exhausted, made their way back to the van. As they drove away, they glanced back at the factory, now just a dark silhouette against the night sky. "What the hell just happened?" Jason asked, his hands trembling on the steering wheel. "We helped them," Maya said, her voice hollow. "But at what cost?" Alex looked down at his blood-stained hand, the weight of their actions sinking in. "We set them free," he said, "but we'll never forget what we saw." As they disappeared into the night, the factory stood silent, its dark history now a part of them forever.